Primal, but I hope they don't pick it because that means I understand their draft.
For Gaimin,
Radiant's up.
I don't know. I think the last pick of Beastcoast is going to affect Gaimin's last pick very much here. I think they just run it back and pick like some Luna here with the IO. Run against the Timber. Manta hero for TA.
Yeah, but isn't Luna, I mean, doesn't Io want to hang out with Lesh all game?
Just the early game.
Yeah, Luna doesn't need help in the jungle.
Just long
Oh,
enough to
okay.
regret
They'll just connect later on in the game, kind of how like the IO connected with Medusa later in that last game. It's all about the IO Lesh to make space in the early game here. They could do Ursa as well. Well, you got the Primal.
They lost.
Uh-oh.
I called 2 of their picks. They're fucking
Oh, no.
Sorry, guys.
Why did you like the Primal?
I said the Boots of Bearing. I just first thing I thought of is like what I like. You guys mentioned the Spirit Vessel in the last draft, and that just made me think like, what item would I really want? I see no stuns. I see wall. Boots of Bearing.
Okay. The logic is sound. Condolences to Beastcoast.
Condolences to Beastcoast. Just as much thought was put into this as the Weaver. It made so much sense on paper.
For Gaimin, are they going to do something normal here?
Faceless Void.
Faceless Void? Yep. I think that's quite good. Faceless Void. I guess we mentioned the Ursa, Slark, and potentially the Luna. That might be the spicier one, but I do kind of like it this game. Little susceptible to the... Oh no!
Oh,
I forgot. He
like,
loves this hero.
He does love this hero.
But he's playing for Timbersaw. Maybe it's fine. It's probably...
I mean, this hero is for the Lash, I think. It's to buff up the Lash.
He's against a double strength offlane, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's not the best against TA, but they have...
They should swap their lanes, right, though?
I wouldn't mind that, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think I've ever seen Sacred swap lanes. He's kept the Primal so far.
No, the supports, I mean, could swap.
Oh, so you put the Tiny with the TA?
Yeah.
I feel like the Tiny would make the TA's life pretty rough against the Techie's Darkseer lane.
He won't do much, that's for sure. But are you going to... I mean, it's fine. They're probably just going to try lane safely and just leave.
Yeah, I think they should just do that. Try to kill the Darkseer a couple of times in the early game.
And you can just chill, right? If you're this Timber, you're going to be first IO Lifestealer. If you get a somewhat of a decent start, I don't think they can really hurt you.
Well, you're saying the Timber is offlane?
Yeah, and Schofield goes offlane with them. They just give him a little bit of waves, and then all of a sudden Tiny will just take the gate and start camping this Darkseer.
Oh,
No, Timber is actually mid.
yeah, because Darkwood is playing Timber.
Sacred's on Primal.
Oh, I see. So they swapped it up. I mean, same thing. Whatever.
Okay. I think the Primal might consider going Boots, like super early, like even just starting at him and then have it so that the Tiny starts bottom and he just drags Street Boy stop, because I think you can just not lane, and that might be the best.
Okay. Well, it's going to be do or die time for Beastcoast if they want to qualify to TI off of this series, but it's a hell of a mountain to climb going up against Gaimin Gladiators. Let's see how it plays out in game number 3 with ODPixel and Fogged.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Time for Game 3 here between Beastcoast and Gaimin Gladiators. Fogged. Once again, Gaimin Gladiators going the Leshrac IO route that we know that they love. Closing things up with a classic as well, the Duraccio Lifestealer coming into play here. On the side of Beastcoast, what's sort of standing out for in your eyes from them? And do you think it's going to be enough to get Beastcoast the series, or do you think Gaimin Gladiators will be able to ride onwards after that very convincing Game 2 victory?
This is a tough one for me. I think it's the IO Lash Darkseer is something that they're so good with. I'm not a big fan of Lifestealer almost ever when it's played versus TA. That's one of my matchups that I really hate a lot to be able to play. But the fact that he has a Darkseer and the fact that he's playing with that Lash, I think that's where it looks better for me. Because other than that, I was a little worried, but I think it just makes it a different monster. We saw this at TI so much as well too. You just buff. You're kind of just this buffer for the Lesh, and the Lesh becomes your carry. And Quinn is definitely set up in this kind of position where looking at the heroes, yes, he can get burst, but he's the killer for a lot of them. He can kill Primal, he can kill TA, kill Timbersaw early, etc. So let's see how it ends up all going down. Because they played almost the exact same draft the other day versus EG. It was just a clockwork instead of the techies, and they ended up winning that one. An interesting build from Duraccio too. He went like Armlet Radiance. Well, let's see which build he does go.
See, indeed. And so, yeah, this will be what Parker taking the TA to the mid, and then Dark Mark the Timber to the safe.
Yeah, I think so. Because playing TA versus Darkseer in lane is just, it can be a bit rough. Sure, he's not playing with his secondary melee on Ace, but either way, techies. Puts out so much harassment. So I think they're probably gonna just put lane.
Okay.
So, lanes, I mean, I like Gaming's, and I like Gaming's lanes overall too. It just Beastcoast always has an X factor, especially lately when they've been playing with this. I know this like silencer. I don't know. For some reason, they look so good at taking their battles nicely around global. But definitely not the easiest game to play around the global.
It all comes down to you.
See how it
And
goes.
your teammates.
See how this one plays out. We've had sort of they've put the 2 games so far. Game 1 very much Beastcoast having complete control outside of the lanes, and then game 2 Gladiators taking it back their way in a very convincing fashion. It's game 3, this deciding match. Who's going to be able to take that edge? I mean, what kind of concerns you the most about both drafts? Is there a certain lane or certain hero pick that you feel could struggle to see if just be able for the players to make work this game?
I feel like just applying pressure to Duracho might just be difficult here because he's versus double melee. So I feel like Duracho could just have this like incredibly free game where he's also going to be a really big beast. He might not even actually have to play around just being that heal and stuff like that for Quinn. Yeah, Quinn is already going to be getting enabled from Ion Shelf, from the auras that are going to come, or sorry, the auras that are going to come from the Darkseer and the IO in particular, tethering him, just keeping him healed up, so. I'm also wondering how this mid matchup ends up going. I haven't seen the TA versus Leshrac in quite some time, but it does feel quite a bit more difficult than it used to.
I mean, it used to be a lane that TA was happy in, right?
Yeah, he used to be pretty happy as the levels came out, but now I'm just unsure how happy you are because Lightning is just incredible at level 1. 90 damage. That's the big reason why Quinn does love to play this hero. He liked to play it anyway, but now why he's trying to play it even more. It's not an easy lane for
Well, look at this as well. 8 and 4 on Quinn, 1 and 0 on Parker. I mean, that first wave that Quinn was able to shove into the tower, he was really a mess.
Duracho.
He's got the heals for Celery. A little bit of regen with that tether. It's enough to keep him fine. He's okay.
I mean, he was just hitting into an... I think that was 5 stacks, if I'm not mistaken, on the Uproar. It was like 110 bit damage on this Primal Beast. And yeah, Quinn, he's really bringing it.
This mid lane is going to get messy.
Very quickly.
It's going to get messy. So we'll see what Parker can do with this, but it's a rough start.
And it's not really a hero that you can like rotate to and like, hey, we're going to turn onto this slash. They actually can rotate really easy into Parker and just make it so this lane is super miserable. Yeah, Tofu's just going to take a water rune. Quinn's going to be able to get the other one and just continue applying this pressure.
I mean, he can't step up at level 2 Parker, you know, just for the meld and the side. Now he's got the 3, so he's got a little bit of protection with the refraction. Yeah, 15-6 against the 5 and 0 on these first waves.
I didn't think it would be that one-sided, but damn. Yeah, Quinn, I guess the first few waves, really in particular, just bringing it to Parker.
Now he's warmed up after that game too, unless you know.
Bottom.
He's ready to run it back.
They might be able to get Tofu there. He's got a Fairy Fire. Should be okay. No, he's not. Well, I mean, they're having to kind of commit for the kill onto the side there. It's going to expend, and it's going to cost Dark Mago quite a bit of HP. And this lane feels kind of scary for a Timbersaw. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of magic damage that you can dish out between the Darkseer and the Techies early on. So let's see how Dark Mago handles the pressures. 3 lanes going well for Gaimin Gladiators.
Already some concerning signs. I got to be honest, yeah, 3 minutes in for Beastcoast.
Choice that they made, putting the TA mid rather than having it bottom, but choice that definitely looks like it's hurting.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, you know, Parker, he's been able to play some solid mid performances. We haven't seen him do the TA versus Lesh as far as I'm aware. Yeah, against Quinn, it's never going to be easy.
Oh, and Ace has 9 denies down bottom. I mean, yes, they had a lot of attention bringing it to Tofu, but my god, that's quite a bit here already at this early start. They have 19 denies just on the court.
They're crushing all 3 lanes right now, Gaimin Gladiators.
They have 22 denies across the board right now.
It's gonna be a difficult one.
It really does feel like it.
For Beastcoast, it really is already. You can see it here on the numbers.
Yes, but even though they have the TA versus that Lifestealer kind of thing, which is a good match, if the TA doesn't have a game, then the matchup actually can absolutely be into that Lifestealer's favor where we can just stand on top of him. Power Rune.
Scofa's going to try and stop Quinn from being able to refuel, but he cannot do so. Celery keeps him at bay.
Parker at least gets a refill, but yeah, he's even potentially going to get set up onto him. Tofu kind of wants to try some aggression.
Scofield, he'll be around, and with the refraction up was enough to block enough damage that Gaimin Gladiators can't chase further onto him for.
But my god, 27-9, 13-2.
Yep.
I'm just gonna keep looking at the amount of denies really, because this really does cause a big of a spiral effect, just how much you're dominating lanes. I mean, that's 26 denies or something like that now. Pretty brutal. Kind of set up Ace for a super early Vanguard, and I've seen what they do with this Darkseer so many times of how he just takes over the bottom side of the map completely too. And there's a lane where he's just absolutely free farming.
Game for Darkseer to be very punishing. What you against what 3 heroes, including a ranged hero, the TA that normally wants to be on the front lines, trying to get the hits in. So big potential for vacuums, for walls to come out from Ace in the team fights.
Yeah, great potential for that, and just the heals that he's going to be able to go for, depending on which itemization he wants for the eye on the Lesh. So looks like, I mean, Schofield, he's trying to continue kind of breaking the lanes a little bit, making rotations to mid to swing this a bit here for Parker, but every time it's spotted. And this is an easy rotation for Celery. He's like, I have a Lifestealer versus a Primal Beast top. The support can really move anywhere they want.
Yeah, Jiracho's been perfectly fine.
Sure is.
He's got over that hurdle of getting the money for the helm. He can be left on his own.
That's going to be one of the earliest armlets I think we've seen quite some time also. Close to having it done, only 500 away. Gaimin Gladiators is really trying to make up, of course, for that first game. Really, it's all about this lane dominance this time around, and that's... They're going to just continue, like, pretty much playing around Quinn here. We're going to see the stacks coming around, same thing that Celery did earlier. We said, since he has a Lifestealer, in that matchup, he's just going to stack it up, play around those power runes, and yeah, they just continue to just set up Quinn for success here. Get that snowball going. How many stacks? Fury has like 2 triple stacks. And for this side of Beastcoast, I mean, Taker can steal them at the least, but he's not aware of them by any means, so. And they actually got triple sentry wards to cover in case there's any type of vision in the area. So Gaimin just making sure they can get these stacks, and they're already going to do them, so no opportunity for Sacred to steal those away.
Quinn just going to farm them and accelerate that Bloodstone timing.
Massive amount of stacks.
What's the plan for Beastcoast? When you sort of look at their supports, are they able to make any sort of move, catch anyone out? Who's killable in this laning stage on Gaimin Gladiators?
Not many of them, really, especially, I mean, it would be Quinn, right? But Quinn always has the backup of 1 or 2 heroes pretty much every single time here, so yeah, definitely not the easiest. They might have to, I mean, if they want to go for kills, they might have to just rotate the double supports, but that might just feel kind of bad early on here, because then you're just giving, I mean, Ace already has a free one, so maybe it is just the move that they have to do. They cannot contest Duracho up here. Sacred.
No, not now that he's got that armlet coming out to him. So yeah, super fast 7-minute armlet on Duracho.
At the least, Sacred's getting levels, right? He's not playing the lane. He's just cutting the creep wave, pulling it into some neutrals, and then just trampling it down. So at the very least, the Primal Beast is getting something up here. They're looking to swing toward him though immediately. They saw him inside of the jungle. Win.
Bit of a difficult one to take down, even if they find him. He'll always be able to onslaught away.
And it's just not easy for them to sit in their lanes. Like, yeah, top, as you see Sacred, he can because he has always the onslaught and just gonna get out of there if they do go. But bottom, Dark Mago is constantly under kill threat here. I think he's just scared to really step up and get too many last hits because, yeah, it's already like level 3 Ion Shell. He doesn't see the techies at all times. They do have magical burst to kill him. Tofu just take away power runes and continue to get the stacks going. An economy game again for Gaming after they dominate the lanes. Ace versus Mago.
Dark Mago's trying to threaten him. Vacuum to Dragon Bait. Still got a lot of 1 charges and a healing Lotus.
Okay, he's baiting him.
I mean, and it looks like Ace has fallen for the bait. He becomes in from Schofield, and indeed the bait's a success.
Nicely done. Good call. I mean, asking for Schofield to come down there. He gets the double Whirling Death onto him. Kill to recover things, as Parker is starting to recover in the mid lane at the least.
Hope Dyer's middle tower is insured. Standing on his last brick.
Quinn won't be able to chase down Parker. Schofield's here to keep him covered, and doing their best to try and keep sentry control on this area so they can continue to lay down the traps in this area. And Gladiators from being able to charge at them.
Schofield having to run from lane to lane is making it so they have no stacks though. So Parker, even though he is catching back up, okay, they at least have 1. Right, they do have at least 1 ancient stack. Very minimal stacks in comparison to what we've seen from Gaimin Gladiators so far. And they catch Duracho slipping somehow. Off kill bottom.
They're going to try and going on to Dark Margo.
Back up.
That should do it. Tofu will die, but with the relocating, they'll take out Dark Margo, and they can chase down Stinger as well. They'll pop the stick charges, but enough mana's there from Quinn
Up top,
the kills.
they try.
Couldn't quite do it. He's into the creep, and he is away, Duracho.
And you see this time around in the build from Quinn, he's more points in Edict since he's playing versus TA. Parker actually steps up a bit far. He could just be dead in the mid lane.
They get the stun. They're going to be able to run him down. TPs are coming in. Is it going to be soon enough to do anything to turn this? It's not. Parker's gone.
So much damage. I mean, the Edict's right there coming into play. Shreds him in seconds and immediately fill up the bottle for Quinn, of course. And he's going to get himself a power rune. Not the best one, of course, but either way, it's a fill-up. They continue the roll.
The classic Gaimin Gladiators, Lech, Io looking to be off to a hot start.
Even Duracho, I think he just brought the creep around to the mid lane, pops out, finds himself a nice free snag. Yeah, they're snowballing this fast here. Celery playing around Quinn. Look at his levels. Celery, just from the stacks that he's been able to do and sticking with Quinn. Level 7 already. So max tether's online. They can keep this ball rolling, and he can actually go Holy Lock at this game since he's got a Darkseer, so they're going to be able to maximize all this type of heal to be able to buff up this Lech. This Lech is a absolute problem. That's pretty much the Bloodstone done.
It's going to be a quick one. I think
It is.
He's got it complete right with the bits.
Might be the fastest one that I've seen in some time.
I think so. 6.3k net worth at 10 minutes in. It's pretty impressive.
And they're keeping the stacks going. They're getting another one. Celery's just going to keep these stacks. Same thing for Ace. Duracho even just stealing the stacks. Look at this. Taking the triangle here, even blocking the camp, and they're just going to waltz away.
Nah, that's very annoying. Just sitting there blocking the Ancients.
Hey, it's a nice play.
Poor old Beastcoast.
He knows that he's playing versus TA, whose recovery outlet is trying to farm by any means there, and yeah, they're now 3k ahead and continuing this farm. Ace perhaps a bait down bottom.
So we can see they're very close to the fastest timing. Just only 16 seconds slower than the patch fast.
I was going to say
very much up there.
Fast.
Very much up there.
Yeah.
Win this game.
Beastcoast, they're trying to make some moves to fix things with the lanes, but they always are going to have to bring numbers. They have to watch out. Either you make the move to the eye on the Lech and try to like outnumber them, or you have to outnumber them on the side because the relocate's always going to come in. Parker getting some tower damage here. Got 4 heroes in the area. Global is at the ready.
Trying to take this tower.
Quinn just charging in with the Bloodstone.
And they pop the global.
But he is way too tanky.
Yeah, Quinn's not taking any damage at all. And now the global comes to an end. I mean, Quinn and Tofu and Celery, they're thinking about chasing them. Look at the Lightning Storm connection. Tofu is not quite able to close the gap with the blast. I'll probably able to throw a mine down the way of Stinger. Overrise comes out to Tofu. He'll get punished for that.
Bloodstone's cooldown, and they get Quinn.
As they're going to try their best to burst through, and they're pretty much got the whole team here trying to take down this Lech. They're bringing Quinn low. They'll get him. As Quinn oversteps the mark and gets punished by Beastcoast.
They heavily overstepped. I mean, a super aggressive move just to kind of go for a silencer there. And they might be able to get another kill here on the reload.
See if he's going to be able to tether across Celery. It's there. The right clicks enough to hit.
Nice.
He's able to save as well with the infest. Celery will live.
Go strike back. And it's kind of giving up the kills to them there. They just a super aggressive attempt there onto the silencer.
Yeah, I mean, they went straight in. I'm sure Quinn will tell you that he got baited by Tofu. I mean, Tofu, he was
someone got baited.
And then at this point, Quinn tried to turn to try and help out Tofu, but at that point, the call to get out was too late from Quinn. He's surrounded by Beastcoast and Celery. He can't save him. Tries his best coming in with a relocate, but it wasn't quite soon enough.
Exactly what Beastcoast kind of needed to trickle back into this one here. It does cost them a good... I mean, they actually used the global before that and everything, but they baited gaming some. Yeah, the global did his job. In a way, I guess. Holy Locket now finished up for Celery. And they will continue to group up here. Mech is done for Ace. Of course, during all that fight in the mid lane, Ace was just farming, so...
Things will definitely take more of a turn for Gaimin Gladiators when he turns up with the heals.
I mean, they're going to play so fast this game, Gaming. They're just going to continuously run at them, not really give the space to Beastcoast. While Beastcoast, it does feel like they're quite a bit more cooldown reliant with that global. They can set up for some stuff, but it's not easy on Beastcoast. The way that this snowball is kicking off here. And Duracho, he is going to do the same build he did the other day. At least what it looks like right now. It was a pretty good, nice versus that TA, of course. Could itemize afterwards, resembles and stuff. But Sacred.
Can get away from this. I mean, he's got the backup. Duracho's going to try and jump into the reload. Get out, but there's more numbers coming in for Gaimin Gladiators. Global silence is there. Sacred will go for the TP up, but then he realizes got the numbers, he's got the backup. They can try and take this fight. Look towards Ace. Ace gets the wall down. Sacred able to charge and play with the onslaught.
Here comes Quinn.
Healing Duracho up. They're in on top of the Timbersaw with Quinn coming in from the side. Dark Margot's gone. Stun's going to be up the mark onto Schofield. So Schofield's able to toss back Quinn and will manage to TP out there to safety.
Give me once more.
They're diving. They're diving beyond the tier 1 tower. They're on top of Parker. Parker's just going to be watched by Sacred and Stinger as those two can do nothing to keep Gaimin Gladiators off the TA.
And it's a Wisdom Rune. Oh no, Beastcoast. It's around this timing. Duracho, he'll be able to just snag that one up. They get both. Big gold momentum, and now the experience heavily shifting towards Gaming. And that was Beastcoast having to use the global to kind of try to disengage from the reload, but Gaming just fully surrounds him with the numbers.
Yep, even though they stopped Celery coming in with a relocate, they were still able to close in and get close enough. They're taking the stacks away from them. And yeah, with that sort of fight where we're seeing Duracho, he's on track for a good timing on his relic into the Radiance. And when that's there, these fights are going to become even more impossible for Parker to have a presence in as the TA.
It's good versus, I mean, it's nice in a way kind of versus the three of them. And sure, you're not making any misses, but like the damage that it's just going to be providing versus these tanky guys is cool. And yeah, the disassemble factors for like later on is definitely really strong. Tofu already setting up down bottom onto Schofield. Prepping the taser.
Schofield.
Yeah, Schofield already fine.
It's on its way.
Probably hoping to catch a glimpse of him.
Might just get walked down here.
Does it have a TP?
All depending on if Tofu was able to keep up with him.
And looks like the damage of Duracho is a bit too much to just try for a TP out here from Schofield. He's going to try, but I think the damage should be enough. It is. They've gone easily enough between the two of them. They take Schofield down.
Dyer's top tower is really taking a beat.
So it's just trying to split up and get any type of space for Parker, but even this Deso is coming out way later than last game. I mean, the amount of pressure that Gaming, they're just dictating everything. Everyone who shows, I mean, Sacred again down mid.
He's going to get away with the onslaught.
All right, let's see what they can get with this Blink Dagger. I mean, they've got to make something big connect here.
Some sort of toss back into like a full combo, like the TA and the Timbersaw.
Bait them maybe, right? Like toss back into some global kind of plays when they kind of overextend and something and try to punish Gaming at this point. Not easy. Gaming all clustered. 20 Holy Locket on Celery at the ready.
Sacred.
Okay.
They're trying to start something here.
They've got
going for Celery.
Everything though.
They've got the pulverize. They're bringing Celery low, but they can't quite kill him. Nope. Celery's able to get out. Tofu's in with the blast off. They can turn towards anything else instead. Now they have to back away. They weren't able to take out Celery at the start of the fight, and now there's not really any fight to be had here for Beastcoast. They've got to run.
Field. His blink gets cancelled.
When he closes the gap, catches him with the lightning storm. Blink's going to be back up in a second. It's soon enough for Schofield to get away. He'll live.
The blink reveal though from Beastcoast doesn't really catch them much of anything. Celery, he had 20 Holy Locket. They had the Greaves coming into play there, so tanky enough to pretty much deal with anything there that Beastcoast dishes in. Gaming all grouped up, accelerating here too.
Can get back on with the push. Schofield.
Got Edict up in 3.
He's going to go in. He's on the HP, but he tries for the toss back on the Celery. He dies for that one. A risky move from Schofield goes punished.
So much heal and top pace. Chasing Sacred out here a little bit. He might be able to be close.
Yeah, okay, Vacuum's still on cooldown, so
yeah, I thought he had it.
I'm not able to do it without that spell. Yeah, there's all sorts of distractions going on. Duracho just having this whole bottom lane to himself as he pushes it in. That is the Radiance complete.
He's massive, really. I mean, all 3 cores
they're all
very close to each other, and the supports, I mean, they're quite farmed themselves as well, too, with how much they've been able to get just from sticking with their cores and just stacking. Celery is level 11, right? So just see how much it's really causing, how much him just hugging Lash and getting all those stacks. The experience is insane.
It's just looking so tough. Tough here for Beastcoast once again in this game 3.
Parker with a DD. Big tossback plays needed, but Duracho, he's already on them.
Nice to hold him back. The Avalanche. Duracho tries to continue to chase. He's going to have backup from Celery and Quinn with the relocate. They're thinking about diving the tier 2, but the mass TP is coming from Beastcoast. They get the toss coming. Nice Duracho. They get the pulverize as well. Duracho's dead.
Sacred. Holy moly. I mean, that was a huge charge.
See if they can do anything more here. He's also been able to finish off the BKB despite dying there, Sacred. So next fight, he's going to feel pretty darn strong, and in that one alone as well. That was trading his life for Duracho. He'll take that any day of the week.
I mean, he needed like an instant 2,000 damage, it felt like, spread to everybody. That was actually a nice little charge forward there. Well worth giving your life when you're this far behind. Accelerate doing similar thing as last time though. Medallion is going to be going for Quinn. They're going to go for Plitmo. And yeah, we see it again.
Just a little bit too much of a dive there from Gaimin Gladiators. You can see them, they themselves realize that as they tried to back off. And unfortunately for Duracho, he does not get out. Sacred, able to grab him on the retreat.
It looked reminiscent of how they dove earlier, right? Into the mid when they were going for the silencer. Just they felt that they're overextending immediately, and they do get punished a little bit there as the hit comes out from Beastcoast.
Duracho's on his own top. He's TP'd out here. They've got a few of them up here. They do have global.
And they get
still difficult to get to him. He clears out the way and backs up to the jungle.
It's risky next to the tower as well, too. There can just be a full kind of rainbow TP that comes out from Gaming. But this is kind of the Roche area, too. So if Beastcoast is able to get even like one kill here, they can sneak into Roche very easy. Parker does have Deso. He's got the Orb of Destruction. But it looks like Gaming, they're the ones who's actually kind of more set up for it down in bottom for now.
Parker was considering his build-up, whether it needed to be the BKB or the Shard, and he actually feels that he can get away with without getting the BKB quite yet, so he's just going to finish off the Hurricane first.
I think he has to go BKB next. I don't think that he can stand his ground versus these kind of everybody charging in on him. A Surged Leshrac, the Ion Shell and everything, it's definitely going to cause issues. He definitely needs the magic immunity. Gaming. Set up around bottom, they'll be the ones to just get that Roche really quick, so denying that away from the TA as well. I mean, see, it looked like Schofield was going to attempt for a sneak. Wisdom runes. Make sure they get those. Oh, they actually catch him.
They found him. Trying for the TP out, but caught in the final few seconds there of that Observer Ward that they have. Gaimin Gladiators. Sting up.
Just gets out.
It's just one hit away from that.
Racho wants blood. We'll get your Wisdom Rune, Beastcoast. Get Dark Mago, top, get himself away. I mean, the map though, just the pressure that Gaming is applying. Just look at this. Anytime somebody shows, they just run at them. Always the relocate to the other side. Sacred shows himself for a quick second. They just have to quickly shove waves and then disappear. So I think probably for Beastcoast next timing is, unfortunately, they're just gonna have to maybe wait for that BKB for Parker. It's a ways away, unless they get some godly toss back.
The next move. I mean, can they go for any sort of smoke move, or do they have to wait?
I don't think so. I think it's risk.
Take the risk.
You need the BKB on Parker for him to actually be able to clear through multiple different heroes. Maybe you can kill like one or two or something, but you're going to lose your whole team for it without a BKB. Absolutely massive. He's kind of getting pretty close to Quinn, who's been set up for absolute success with the stacks and everything. Does a lot for Duracho. Of course, was set up, you know, with the last pick and everything like that, but still, toe-to-toe with this amount. Pretty huge. Yasha's already done. I think he did also, he did buy the Shard for himself, right? Or, yeah, he did buy the Shard. He's so good with Lesh. That was kind of the combo that we saw around TI. The Lesh Lifestealer. Just seems so broken with the open wounds. Does heal. Killing Quinn's going to be a real big problem. They're going to try.
They'll try the toss back. Oh, they bring him down pretty low, but not enough. As Sacred will charge in, looking to get on top of Celery. Global as well. They'll take Celery out.
Okay. When they look for anything more here, it's eyes on Schofield, all for these tossbacks. We'll settle for that one. It did cost them quite a bit. They did have to pop the BKB for Sacred and everything. Duracho now on the charge.
Yeah, he's ready to just go forward and start forcing Beastcoast back.
Right, not bad though. These tossbacks, something that Gaming does have to be a little bit careful of. Quinn actually almost ends up dropping too. I think the Gossamer cape like that, even the dodge or anything saved him. These little bits of things. Radiance Infest.
Did he go back in, finish off the tier 2 tower?
And yeah, as you said, that was a lot from Beastcoast to spin that. That was BKB from Primal Global and kind of catching Gaming off guard there. The kill's a kill. I'll take anything they can get. Dark Mago, he has his Aghanims actually finished. It does have to just be careful because as I was mentioning from earlier, the disassemble play is definitely available for Duracho when he wants to. He can do the Nullifier build and then he can go like Halberd and stuff like that. And Nullifier, it owns Timbersaw Eggs. It just dispels it as we've seen. So maybe does go down that route. If they even feel like Dark Mago ever becomes an issue as Quinn and he's hunting him. Cutting off Dark Mago.
Don't know if he's got any way out of this one. No TP. Vacuum. Stun won't be quite there initially, but they're still dancing around him. He's got a bit of protection with the axe. Gaimin Gladiators, they do look to respect that. They know now actually that the TP is coming in, and Dark Mago turns and blows up Celery.
Big damage.
Toss forward here. They're going for more. The toss into the pulverize. Sacred's able to get the catch on the way.
Another kill.
Down. Onslaught for the Sacred. They're on top of Quinn. Quinn's in trouble. He's out the one.
They're going to have to buy back here. Beastcoast finding an opportunity.
Buyback reload kick coming in from Celery, ready to tether back across towards Quinn. They'll see if they can catch Sacred.
He's got no TP.
He's got Onslaught again in a second, so if they want to chase him, they're able to catch him. Sacred, he's out, so they did have to use a buyback there.
They did.
So definitely some signs of fight from Beastcoast, and despite the fact they're playing from quite far behind.
I gotta be honest, I feel like Gaimin's not really respecting how tanky some of these heroes can be in a few of these overextensions. I mean, this Aghanims, you do no damage versus it until you do have a Dispel. Dark Mago, a humongous connection, just deletes Celery from full HP.
Little signs of life here from Beastcoast. He's giving a lot of space for Parker. He's got 4.3k gold in the bank right now.
He's ahead of the Lifestealer or something.
Parker, he's definitely carried Beastcoast out of some tough games before.
He's got the BKB now too, so easier outlet to be able to try to go for these fights. I'm waiting to see if Duracho does. Maybe he wants the Manta first, just because of the global and stuff, but I feel like it could be one of those games where are they on soon? Just because of that Timber. Albert already done for Ace, does have an Ansha for the TA, but Parker, well, 18. They're not entirely out of this one yet.
It's proven to be too easy for Celery in the last few fights. They managed to sort of force Celery's hand pretty aggressively, Schofield in particular. If he sees that IO, he's in for the toss back, and to be fair, he's not even afraid to toss back some of the cores, and especially now that Parker will be around to be involved. They can have a decent shot trying to burst some of them.
Yep.
It's not going to be easy, though, especially with the next time coming out from Quinn. He's got the full Shiva's guard.
It's just if they can catch them off guard in particular. If Gaimin just overextends a couple times too here, they just have to give it a bit more respect to Beastcoast, as we've seen. Yeah, Schofield now with his 4-step too, so Philosopher's Stone, so getting that farm going, finding the avenue to be able to get that initiation and get out over and over again. And Sacred, he soon does have an Aghanim, so pretty decent item overall here this game. Any little bits of damage, the break can be decent for his Lifestealer in some type of ways too.
Yeah, Gladiators is definitely slowed things down a little bit. Yeah, there's for those last few moves that Beastcoast have managed to punch back pretty convincingly against.
Still in a pretty okay spot, of course, here, but definitely seeing potential. Parker.
Safe spots as well, getting trap coverage around, so knows if somebody's going to be coming looking for him.
I just keep bringing up the levels over and over again in the game too, because it was Gaimin who was grabbing like most of the wisdom runes, but when you do get some type of these kills, like level 19 now on Parker. Yes, there is some other heroes of course suffering, but considered. Pretty damn good so far. Yeah, there's that next Aghanim's timing.
All right, yeah,
Gaimin is still farming a little bit more across.
They are, but in comparison to game 2, for this time round, there's absolutely the setup for Parker to play his part, whereas in last game, even though he had good farm, he couldn't really do a whole lot against the core. This game, there's definite potential for TA.
It's a TA versus the Lifestealer instead of a TA versus a Medusa, which is a much better matchup overall for Parker as the game goes on.
Playing them out really nicely.
He sure is.
They're not catching him, and he's getting a whole lot out of this.
They really, a lot of them are. Like even Sacred's getting good farm too now at this point too, and getting themselves a Wisdom Rune. Mago's almost 18. Meld Dispel talent also for the TA. Yeah, I guess versus like the Phaser and stuff. Shards are gonna be, it'll be Tofu again. Hey, they're both really good. Both support ones are excellent this game for the side of gaming. Either one that they get. It was unfortunate that they did end up getting Schofield Shard, which is probably the most worthless one in the game. But
I mean, what is the plan out for game? Is it just waiting for this next Roshan?
Rosh, yeah. I think you just wait to take the fight around the Roshan, which they have. I mean, they have a strong team fighting lineup.
I don't know if Beastcoast would sort of shy away from the fight, though.
I think they'll probably look to fight, yeah.
I think they'd bring it. They would try and bring it, especially around the global.
Does make it harder for you to go for some type of toss-back play, though, if everybody's grouped up and gaming can set up positioning in particular, right? Because then the IO and the techies go hiding and the Lifesteal and the Darkseer act as the bodies. But I do think that they'll look for that fight, and Parker might actually have the timing of his MKB for it as well, too, to deal with some of that evasion.
Super close, especially if they can like try for a tier 1 tower of sorts, but looks like Gaimin Gladiators will make sure that that will not be easy. They're hovering around this bottom tower.
Sure has to just shows himself. He has BKB, so he should be pretty safe. With the smoke's coming out, Gaming, they know this Rosh is going to be spawning, and they're setting up for it. Moving in about 5 seconds.
Parker's in a bit of an awkward spot.
Yeah, this could be scary. I mean, Schofield might just show himself and die instantly. He sees them, but he gets caught.
Yeah, he's going down, and with him getting caught, Beastcoast probably won't try and do anything about this Roshan. They'll have to let this go. They don't have the full lineup. They don't have the initiator. They know that they're in Rosh, but they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, they maybe would have contested with him, but it would have been a difficult contest, of course. Something that they might have felt like they needed to do is, yeah, Aegis now, Cheese as well. That could allow Gaming to really press the envelope here. Getting that extra bit of healing and survivability to run through. Also hit level 18. And they're just gonna, okay, they'll give the Aegis though to Duraccio. I actually kind of like that, because there's definitely the chance when it's like if he's, I mean, he's gonna do his Duraccio thing, right? So give him an Aegis so he can play as aggressive as possible.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be the one on the front in the towers, and you know, Celery doesn't want to have the responsibility of trying to bail up. He wants to be able to just focus his efforts and attention onto Quinn.
Celery now has a pretty big pickup that he was missing in these last few ones also. Sure, he has Medallion Holy Lock to protect, but now he's got a Glimmer. That adds quite a bit of layers of protection. And everything is... Beastcoast, they want to catch him off guard anyway. They're like, okay, you have Aegis Cheese, but you guys are going to be comfortable. They're going to look for the go themselves. The MKB's done on Parker.
See what they can catch.
They just run into mines though and reveal their smoke. At least 1 or 2 mines spawn. Pop, so Gaming go low. Nice attempt though. I mean, Beastcoast, you can see that they're, even though they know that they're at this deficit, they're looking to catch them off guard, but yeah, the mines are set up for Gaming. Braccio, he's got his AC done. Gaming, they're absolutely ready to fight back though. They've got pretty much everything. Okay, item timing. Quinn actually has a Hex now.
Smoke ready on Celery if they want to try and group up and go for some sort of catch.
Right now their lanes are in a good spot, so it does feel like they can. Yeah, bottom is pushing in, mid's pushing in, and top's also, so it does feel like they're going to go for a play here now.
Here comes the smoke.
Yeah, they've got the gem also too. They've got pretty much, yeah, absolutely everything. Quinn also, of course, now finding a regen, so that could be really, he's able to reset in the fight. And they do have this deep vision. They just scout out a couple of these Beastcoast heroes. They're going to see Parker. They're looking to catch him in his position where he's going next, since they see that rotation from him toward the Ancients. Gaming trying to be a step ahead.
Quinn, reveal that he's around as he clears up the creep wave. We'll see if Beastcoast had eyes on that.
Got the Hex.
That's going to find Sacred. Sacred, he's going to get shoved to the side there. Parker with a nice Hurricane Pipe play there, breaking Sacred away from potential follow-up stuns.
But he has to use his BKB. And look at Duraccio try to chase forward here. Instead of very Duraccio play.
He gets tossed back into the avalanche, pulverized as well. The wall's going to be dropped down as well as the 3-man vacuum and turn. Duraccio, he'll go down the once. But he does start off a fight where Gaimin Gladiators, they're able to get both the silencer and the tiny.
What a Duraccio play. I mean, he's like, I just want to start the fight.
I mean, that's why they give that man the H. Sure do. He's the fight starter. He goes in, he gets caught, it works out.
And it's tough for Parker. He had to use that BKB completely defensively, so for him fighting in this, it's pretty impossible. If he steps up, gets hexed, he could just instantly die.
Patient, but yeah, no Tiny. They need this Tiny for the toss backs. They need Schofield. Sacred. He's going to try and get in there. They jump forward. They're looking to put it through Quinn. They cannot do so. Quinn's getting healed up, and that's going to be Sacred out for a minute. No buyback available on him. Jump forward from Tofu with the blast off over towards Dartmargo. They've taken Stinger down as well. It's dieback. He's out for a minute. The space is there for Gaimin Gladiators to take the mid-racks.
Continues to get zoned away. 20 seconds until BKB, and Gaming, they got what they came for. To maybe reset and go back in. Yeah, they're fake backing.
Yeah,
fake back.
They're ready to go once more, surely.
Blink vacuum.
Ace is watching.
They might just have to settle for Schofield, but he wants the big target. He wants Parker.
And he finds to jump in and get the vacuum. Dracho's in as well. They're in on top of the TA. They'll pop the BKB on Parker, but Gaimin Gladiators will chase him down. He's out for 85. And of course, with the way that he's spent up, he has no luxury of buyback.
And they can just go force here. They have the AC. Creeps are coming in. I mean, Schofield will buy back to deter them, but yeah, he's dead for such a long time, and that's all their damage.
There's no TA. And for over a minute, Dracho gets his basher sent out to him on top of the AC. At least a second set of racks. They do still have a tier 2 top Beastcoast, so Mega Creeps won't be an available option quite yet. But the game, on the other hand, it may just well be with these kills that Gaimin Gladiators continue to catch as Schofield is caught over in the mid as Quinn heads over with the TP. They're bringing in a second wave.
Daracho might be saying just hit the tier 4, screw top.
I mean, they've got still such a long time where it's just down to the 3 heroes of Beastcoast to try and hold back the full lineup of Gaimin Gladiators. Back Ace, he's got the catch, the follow-up Hex, they're in on a Stinger. Stinger's out as well for good. Gaimin Gladiators, they're going to get even more. Jump forward, the blast up over with Dartmargo, who'll get the shield with the Aghanims, but he'll get destroyed by the overwhelming damage of Gaimin Gladiators. There's only Sacred left as he's bullied back to the fountain. The tier 4s will fall. There's 15 seconds, and they will have Parker back up. We'll see if he gets a chance to show his face once more in this game, but it looks like the towers, the Ancient, they're going down too quickly. The tier 4s are gone. Ancient exposed. 5 seconds until he's back, and it's 5 seconds too long. GG is called as Gaimin Gladiators take game 3, and with that best of 3, it's theirs.
They come in and they're like, all right, you got us at once, we're going to do our IO-Lesh, and they make it look great. They really did. Finishing up the draft with the Life Stealer, Daracho, he just stands his own versus top, and clean, methodical game overall from Gaimin Gladiators. Beastcoast, the whole game just trying to recover things, trying to find this way to get Parker back online, but it really was the lanes for me, everything, how well they did, how many denies they were able to get across the board, and yeah, when they enabled them perfect.
It felt like they were well and truly warmed up by this game 3 Gaimin Gladiators, and that game 1 seeming like nothing more than a distant memory. It really feels like overall, with the way that this series played off, the big factor in that game 1 was very much the Meepo pick, gripping Gaimin Gladiators up. Outside of that sort of last pick kind of surprise, it did seem that Beastcoast, they struggle against gaming.